Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Shayla. Welcome to my home in Tennessee. Come on in.
This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Xela Andrews. I'm an interior designer and I live in Brentwood, Tennessee. Welcome to my home. We moved here 4 years ago from Dallas, Texas. We were searching in Nashville. We had looked at lots of different homes. Our realtor was bringing us to this home, and when you drive up to our home, there is this windy road that you go through, and it's like a little forest. And we were thinking, where in the world is she taking us? This is really crazy. We're in Brentwood. You wouldn't think you're going through a forest, and so it just feels like very serene and beautiful. And then we pulled up to the house, and my daughter and I were like, oh, this is the house. Like, we love it. And my husband actually was like, I don't think this is the house, because there was quite a bit of things that he knew I was going to want to do to the home. So I took a little bit of convincing, but then we were able to purchase the home. And right before that, we found out that the homeowners here were actually Hillary Scott from the music group Lady A. They were wonderful. They gave us a cute gift to welcome us to their home. And so it's just kind of a fun backstory about our house. So this home is a colonial type home. It's actually built in 2007. We knew that we were going to need to do some work to this house. When you walk into the house, it had the red oak floors that looked very 1990s type of feel. And so that we knew we were going to need to redo floors. The kitchen was actually quite small for the size of a home. This house is about 8,000 square feet. And so we knew we were going to need to do some reconfigurations of that area. So these things were the part that my husband was like, oh no, we're going to have to put a lot of money into this house to get it to be what it needs to be. And, but the past 4 years, we've been remodeling it and doing it. And I think now it really feels like this house fits the whole exterior and the interior. Welcome to my living room. This room is one of those spaces that has so much light and beauty that it really doesn't matter what I put in this room. It just looks pretty. But I've kind of made this be a place where you want to just relax, read a book, listen to music, that kind of thing. I have these shelves, and I love these because I can put all the little things that make our family happy, old photos. Actually, this particular piece is something from my mother-in-law. She recently passed away, and this was one of her favorite sculptures, the Lady in the Hat. So I love that. I have pictures and things from Paris. I love these doors. Doors are probably one of my favorite things because they just like speak to a story that, you know, behind those doors, what's going on. So I love that. This fireplace, I love how big, tall, and amazing it is. When we bought the house, it had some brown tile that I was not a fan of. And I just looked at it instantly and thought, this needs marble. And so we did this marble mosaic, and I love it. Up here, I had to have something that was going to be really tall and just kind of carry that space up. And so I found this beautiful art at a store here in Nashville. And then I found these urns. You won't believe it, but I found these urns at HomeGoods, and they were just popping out at me and was like, you need to buy these. I would have paid lots and lots of money for them because I just thought they were perfect. But HomeGood's fine. This is probably one of those things that is going to be in our life forever until we die and then we pass it down. My husband plays the piano. My daughter plays the piano. I play heart and soul. So that's all. But they play, and it's probably one of my most favorite things to sit here and listen to them. Back here, more pictures, pictures of family members. The picture right up there is a picture of me and my mom when I was a baby. And so I love just looking at that. And then just little trinkets. There's actually pictures of our home in Texas. My sister actually made a book for me of our home and the pictures of that home because, of course, home is special. So you want to take that with you when you go. So this room is quite large. And so I needed to find a sofa that was going to like really anchor the room and feel like it was meant to be in this space. And a lot of things are actually too small for a space like this. I came across this. Actually, I found it at Restoration Hardware Outlet. I probably wouldn't have got it if I had to order it, but I just found it. The colors and everything were just perfect, so I had to get it. A marble coffee table is just the most perfect thing to me. I love just how traditional and timeless that it feels. And then I love to decorate a coffee table. I love to put different heights, different books, everything like that. And these are all pieces that have a little bit of a story to me. The average person might not think so, but like this has come across one of our travels. I have books that I love to look at. So kind of fun. So on this side, this wall was huge. And so I knew I was going to have to do something that would really anchor this side because you have the fireplace on one side. You needed something really great on this side. And so this beautiful anthropology mirror, I love how timeless this looks. It has like those details that feel really traditional and a little bit European as well. And then I found these beautiful pictures, and they are of old architectural buildings. And I just love, again, how each one of those buildings tells another story. One really great thing about this room is this molding and the arches that are in this space. When we actually were looking at this house with our realtor, she mentioned maybe we would want to get rid of the molding and the arches. And I couldn't even imagine. So I thought, nope, we have to keep these. And so we painted this house. So this is a beautiful Swiss coffee. I think that is just like a perfect creamy, warm color. And then making sure to do all of the trim in a bright white, so it just really pops off. And I just think it's so beautiful to look at these architecturally and think, oh my gosh, like those arches lead you into this space, and then the windows behind here lead you out into the backyard, and I just think it's perfect. I feel like I'm a bit of traditional with a little touch of modern. I love to decorate with timeless pieces, and I never want a home to feel like it was remodeled. I really want it to feel like this was always this way. When people come, they would have no idea of all the things that we've touched in this house. The best compliment somebody can give me, honestly, is probably that they feel comfortable and they feel the love that I pour into this house. Every room in this house is me. It's got my touch on everything. And I just want, my kids, my family to feel like, sorry, I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it, but I just want people to feel loved when they come to my home, especially my kids. I think, sorry, my youngest is gonna leave home soon, so it's a little raw and real, but I want them to always feel welcome to come home. And now we're walking into the kitchen, and of course this is the heart of the home and probably one of my favorite spots. And this kitchen looked completely different when we purchased the home. And they had done some updates on it, but for what we wanted and for the amount of space and entertaining needs we have, I really had to reimagine this space. So the biggest thing about it is that where the kitchen is and the dining room and the family room, we kind of moved things around. The kitchen was in this spot, but we pushed out a wall. And the dining room used to be what they called a gathering room, very small family room. And then where the family room is, there was the dining room, and then there was a porch. And so we pushed that wall open and took over where the porch was, and now that's our family room. And so now this space really feels like what it's meant to be for this house. It really makes it easy to entertain. We have the double islands, which is one of my favorite things. I love to be able to have a spread on the front island, and then you have this back island to do all of your little kitchen cooking types of things. And so this really evolved into a space that really feels like us and really makes it easy to entertain when we want to, but also in our just everyday lives. This wall over here is the huge focal point of this space. So I wanted to get a really large hood, and then the way I wanted to frame this all out was to do the open shelving. And open shelving can be tricky, and sometimes in a kitchen, people aren't sure what to do with it. Because I have a good amount of cabinets, that wasn't a problem. So for me, I just have things that have meaning to me. So like art that we found when we were in Europe last year at a flea market, some breadboards that I've acquired from antique stores and things. And then on this side, just more, well, there's cookbooks and more from our travels. So I have another art piece that we found in Europe, and then another piece that my mom's from Honduras, and we went there last year, and I knew I wanted to have something in this space that spoke to that place. And so this top piece over here is from Honduras, and I love all of that. And then you've got to make sure you have enough area for actually cooking and doing the things that a kitchen are meant to do. And then you'll also notice in the kitchen that I have kind of a mix of material. So we have the white cabinetry that I've got back here and then on the perimeter over here. And then both the islands are stained. Everything is quartzite. I absolutely love quartzite. I did a leather quartzite on here. And what I have found with doing the leathered, one, I love the texture, but two, it seems to protect the stone a little bit better, so it's not so porous, and I think that's really an important thing. And having the stained islands, I just love bringing that warmth in. So we've got the warmth of the stain, we've got the gold that's on the hood, the gold in the lighting, the gold in the sink fixtures. All of that brings warmth, and I love to incorporate that type of feel in everything that I do. On this side, we have all of this cabinetry. We have the refrigerator, and everything is a little bit hidden, which I love. And then we did this hidden pantry, and this is something I love to show people because it's not something you see in every house. And I think it's just awesome and a great way to add more storage. And then something that I really love is that we have this whole little drink station. So we have these refrigerators, we've got ice, and you can just have a party, make drinks over here, and it makes it super easy. This is something I found at High Point, and you can get really cute, unique things, not just all like big, huge market stuff, but these are old antique breadboards, and a lot of people do that, but when they framed them, I was like over the moon for these pieces, and I knew I had to get them. Just think they really tell a story, and they're beautiful. What I love most about this house is actually all of the outdoor. When you look through our windows, all you see is green, beautiful trees. Our family room in particular, when you sit in that room, the way that room is set up, it actually feels like you're in a tree house. And I love that because who doesn't want to be in a treehouse? It makes you feel happy, it makes you feel relaxed, and you can just look out and see, all the trees flowing. And we often get deer here. And so sometimes you'll be looking out and a whole family of deer will walk by. That's probably one of my favorite things. As you can see, you go from the kitchen right into the family room. And again, this is the room that I was telling you about earlier and how it's a tree house. And that is my favorite part of this space. You look out these windows and it just feels so serene. And then I really wanted to make this be super comfortable for our family. This was the old porch that we pushed out. And so I wanted to make sure that we kind of have this little cozy area that you can watch TV, you can chat, go play games, whatever it is that you want to do. And then love to have, again, a styled coffee table. I just think it's so pretty and just adds a little bit to the space. And then once you get here, you can look over and it opens up into our screened-in porch. So you step into this room and it truly feels like a tree house. We've got the screened-in porch here. It's just really beautiful and just so calm. And when it's not a million degrees, you can sit out here, you can watch TV, you can read a book, you can take a nap. One of our favorite things to do is come out here when it's raining, and it's just so calming, and you just could literally fall asleep and spend the whole afternoon in here. Something I love about this room is that it's really just an extension of our family room, especially when we have a lot of guests. We can just open this up. It gives another place for people to sit. And all of this furniture, it's outdoor, so we don't have to worry about the elements. It does get dirty out here. You got to clean it a couple times a year, but for the most part, we're really protected and it's just really nice. And so I love this little sectional that we've got, this round table with this ombre bottom. It's probably one of my favorite pieces that I just happened upon, and I don't even quite remember where I got it, but everything out here just feels peaceful and it's a really great room. Welcome to our porch. So this is right off of our living room and I love this space. We really wanted to make this space feel like an extension of the living room, of the family room. So we found this furniture. One thing that's a little tricky about this space is that it's not covered. So this furniture is always in the sun, always in the elements. So I wanted to find particularly strong, durable furniture. So I actually found this at, there's a store here in Nashville called The Patio. And all of this is like really quick drying fabrics and stuff like that. So it's something that can easily be left out here. I have a lot of blue inside, so I wanted to pull the blue out here. And then I love a fire pit. We love to come out here, sit around this fire. I love the lighting that we've added just up above. So at night, this is a really great place to be. The other thing we did is there was not a spot for grilling up here, so we had to add that. And I love that we did because the main grill was down, and that I would never do that. I would never go grill because it would be just way too far to do. So we added that in up here, and that has been so great. We grill all the time, all summer, and we love entertaining, and that this really helps us to do that. And then it makes it so when we have guests over for swimming and barbecuing and all those things, it's perfect. We go down, we have a beautiful time, just enjoy the pool, the yard, everything. One thing in living in Tennessee, it gets really hot, and so having a pool is kind of a must-have for us. So when we found this property, we were so glad that it already had a pool. It's a really big pool. It has beautiful fountains. It's got great spaces for entertaining. It has beautiful rose bushes, which I absolutely love down there. And then around all of our yard, we have hydrangeas. Those are one of my favorite flowers. So we have them all around the pool, all around to the garage, and up front, all around the entry. And nothing says more southern to me than hydrangeas. So a white colonial home with hydrangeas they had me sold. I absolutely love that. So being out here, smelling all the flowers, sitting and listening to the fountains, it's just a perfect Saturday. When people come to my home, I want them to walk in and feel instantly welcomed. I think that's really important. We love to have people here. Over the years with our kids, they have always had their friends at our home, and that is super important to me. I just want people to come in and feel like you can sit down, put your feet up, and feel really welcomed. And I think that that's something you have to balance in not feeling too elegant in a home. So it can look really beautiful, but also you want it to feel comfortable so that people don't feel like they're in a magazine and don't want to mess things up. Now we step into the dining room, and this room is right off the kitchen. And like I was mentioning before, this room used to be the gathering room, which is like another family room. And so I knew this room would switch into our dining room. And we used to have a fireplace on this wall that we closed up because we added the fireplace to the family room. And so now we have this beautiful dining room. And one of the things that I'm so excited about is the wallpaper that we added in here. This particular wallpaper is actually from a new line that I'm carrying for Spaces in Bloom. And of course, anything with flowers and bloom is something that I absolutely love. And blue is one of my favorite colors, but I also feel like it's a really great neutral. So adding this to this space, I think I'm not going to tire of it. I think it's going to be something that just really works well with our home. But what I also love about it is that when we added the wallpaper, it really made everything else pop. So it made the arched windows really pop, and you see the green outside even more. And so all of that together just makes this be a beautiful, comfortable space. I love that it's big enough that we can have a humongous table in here. I can actually add one more leaf and we can still fit in here. And then another thing I did was bring in these bookcases. I wanted something to be kind of heavy on this wall, but I didn't really want to do another built-in. And so these are actually from Ballard. I love the black on them, the white, and I love that I can fill them with pieces that help entertain, but also are beautiful. All of your stemware, if you have china or just really nice dinnerware, I think that's all really fun to display. And then you can add, a little bit of life to it with faux florals. You can add art and things that bring in color. I love to collect ginger jars, and you can find them in lots of different places. These were actually a find that came from an antique store and of a girl I found on Instagram, and she goes and finds lots of different things. And so I'm not exactly sure where she sourced it, but I just thought they were so great. I love this flower etching and then the color on it. And then this one had lattice. And I just thought the two of them together just looked so beautiful. And I'm not sure where they came from, what their story is, but I really, really love that. And then, oh, the other thing, one of my clients just gave me these 2 days ago. We just did an install for her, and they're beautiful Tiffany wine glasses. And I just thought, how sweet. She gave me two. And they, when your clients give you something because they appreciate everything that you're doing to their home, just really think that that's important. And every time I use them, I'm going to feel so happy and think of her. Even though you have wallpaper, I think it's totally fine to add artwork to that. So I just think it adds another dimension, but I'm also think what's so great is that they pop off even more. When I didn't have the wallpaper here, I had these, and they were beautiful, but now they really stand out. I love how these are just little, almost look like newspaper articles of old castles, homes, all in Europe. Europe is just something I really love. And so they're small, so you really want to like take a look at them, but then they're matted with all the white. And I just think they really tell a story, and it really makes you want to kind of hone in and look at it and see what story are they trying to tell us just through these beautiful artwork. I love to set a table. I just think it is just so fabulous to do. And I think when you set a table, you're really telling the people that you've invited to sit here that you really care about them, that you took the time to put this together. So I found this tablecloth. It's a beautiful toile, and I found it on Etsy. And it's a brown, and what I love about that is that it's really neutral. So I have used this particular tablecloth. I used it for Thanksgiving. I used it for Christmas. I used it for Easter. I've set it up for you today. And I just think it's such a great neutral that you can use for anything. And then it's all what you add in the layers. So a charger is something that I love to kind of anchor the space with, and then your plates. And a linen napkin. I love that. Like, that really tells the person that's going to be sitting here that you care, because you're gonna have to wash these and everything. But I also love a cute little napkin ring, and then just adding whatever stemware you want. I think these are fun and pretty, and candles. That just sets the mood for a really cozy dinner, and then beautiful florals. Florals anchor any space, and you don't have to add much more because they're just so beautiful on their own. I really love florals. My design company is called Spaces in Bloom Designs, and the backstory of that is that, I just want to go in and make everyone's spaces bloom and make them be what they really want it to be. Everybody has like a little bud, and you want it to blossom into something beautiful. And so flowers are something I absolutely love. I love wallpaper. So we actually have several wallpapers in our home. I love that. I love to have mixtures of texture and pattern. I think that is really just so beautiful. And I love to do things like marble and gold, because I feel like those are something that's really timeless. And I love to do moldings and things like that because it really adds so much to the house, but also will never go out of style. This is our entry. This is the space that welcomes you into our home. And we have really, really high ceilings in here. So what I wanted to do in this space is really like make it feel cozy and not too crazy, because it's so large. Sometimes that can be hard. So one thing I did was get this really kind of heavy um, piece, and it looks like it could be antique. It's actually not, but I like that it gives that vibe. And then we have these mirrors that really take over this wall. I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do in this space for this wall? And we thought about a lot of different options, and then I went into a store and they had 3 humongous mirrors just like lined up, and I was inspired by that and found these beautiful antiqued mirrors. They are 24 by 24 each, and so we did 4 up, 4 wide, and I think it just really, really makes the space. So right off at the entry is my office, and this is one of my favorite spots in the house. This actually used to be the dining room, and when we were thinking about all the remodeling that we were going to do, I knew we were going to need this space. First, what I wanted to do was get some built-ins, so that way we could really establish this being the office. So I worked with a contractor to create these beautiful shelves. I picked this beautiful color, but I wanted things that you could display, but also you're seeing this when you come right into my home. So it can't be too messy or crazy. It needs to be beautiful. I do display some of the projects that I'm working on and some of the things that I'm doing. So I figured out a way to kind of make these shelves hold things with being kind of turned on its side. And so I'm able to display all the things that I'm working on. So one thing, it looks pretty, but two, it's actually what I'm doing. I'm actually working on these spaces with these items. Then we went and did something for all the books. We love to read. We love to travel and incorporate all these things into all of that. And so you'll see little pieces from our travels. You'll see, of course, little flowers and things, pictures of my kids when they were little, just anything that like really makes me happy. And another thing I love about it is that when I'm on a Zoom call, everyone says, "Oh my gosh, is that real? Is that where you are?" Yes, that's my office. So, one of the other things we did in here was wallpaper. And I found this wallpaper. The artist is Kelly Ventura, and she is an artist that had done watercolors and things, and then she went into doing wallpaper. And I found this wallpaper, and I was obsessed. I had to have it. So I did it on all the walls that didn't have cabinetry on them, and then I also added it to the ceiling. And I think when you add it to the ceiling, that's really where it takes the room to a whole nother level. And that's something probably commented on the most is, "I can't believe you have wallpaper on the ceiling." Then one of my really, I know I say lots of things are my favorite, but this rug, when I saw a picture of it, I just thought that if that doesn't scream Xela Andrews Spaces in Bloom, I don't know what does. So I had to get it. I love the colors in it. It makes me happy every time I see it. And I think it's a really beautiful rug to see off of our entry. And just it makes me happy every day. Because this was the dining room, it had a really big opening into this space. And it's got custom trim and molding around it. So I knew that was something I did not want to get rid of, and I didn't want to close that up and create more wall for the entry. It just wouldn't have looked right. So what I did was I added these iron doors. We have iron doors that are at the front of our house, and I just wanted to make that an extension and make it feel like when the house was built, these would have always been here. And so we've got these beautiful, huge iron doors, and I love that they have just a little touch of gold. It's the only spot in the house where we have a little gold hardware, and it just makes me happy when I see it. This is a really fun part of this space that I love. So because this room was the dining room, it actually connected to the kitchen, and I didn't want to close that up and have a way, not a quick way to get to the kitchen. So we created this secret door, and it's just one of my favorite things. I use it every day, and I absolutely love that we did this. I have been an interior designer for 15, 16 years. I did not go to school to be an interior designer. I am self-taught. Initially, I was a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 kids, and I stayed home with them, and I would do things for our house, and people would come over and they would love what I had done, and, "Hey, can you help me? Can you help me pick out paint?" Those types of things. And then over the years it evolved, and then I decided I needed to go get a certification. So I went and did that, and then I would start taking on jobs. I didn't do that full time because I still had 3 kids at home, and for me, mom is my biggest job. That's what I'm most proud of, is being mom. So that was something that I could do on, when they were at school and things like that. And then as my oldest got into high school, I started thinking, okay, these kids are all going to leave, and I can't be stuck sitting here crying because they all left. So I thought, okay, you need to do something that, by the time that they all leave, you will have established this business and it will be what you focus on. And so that's what I did. So about 9 years ago, I started Spaces in Bloom Designs, and we have just really grown. We have projects all over the country. We mostly focus in Dallas, where I used to live, and then in Nashville, of course. And so it's just been something that I love doing, and I love and feel like it's really an honor and a privilege to get to help people with their homes, because for me, home is your safe place. It's your place you want to feel the most comfortable. You want to welcome your friends in. And so I want all of my clients to feel just like I do about my own home, that you're happy and excited to have people there. Welcome to the primary bedroom. This is our bedroom. I love this room. It feels so serene in here. I do have pink on my bed. Funny story, my husband is colorblind, and so he doesn't really know what this looks like. And somebody said to him, "I can't believe that you have pink on your bed in your bedroom." And he was said, "Where's pink?" And so the guy was like, "On your bed." And so he was like, "Shayla, you put pink on our bed." And I said, "You didn't even know." He either thinks it's gray or cream. So when you have a guy that's colorblind, you can have whatever you want on your bed. And so we have pink. So I love this bed. I love the texture that this headboard adds. And then we have this wallpaper. This is also from my line. And I love birds. I don't know what it is about them. I just have always had like a little soft spot, I guess, for birds. And so we designed this wallpaper to kind of have that a bit of a toile feel, but with the birds. And it just feels so serene and it really makes me happy. Those birds just make me smile every day. On the nightstands, I love these. These I actually found at Restoration Hardware, and the mirror, the antique mirror, I just think it's timeless. I can't think of like when I would get sick of these. I think they're just so beautiful. I paired them with some marble lamps, and I just think those little touches of antique marble mirrors, all those types of things just elevate your space. And I think that when you have a bedroom that feels beautiful to you, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it feels like you, I think you're happier. It makes you want to make your bed every day. It makes you excited to come in here. And so that's one of my tips. Make your bed every day and find little things that make the room feel happy. Now we're going to go into the primary bathroom. So first of all, my very favorite thing is these doors. So these are 100-year-old antique doors, came from Europe. There's a store, I think it's in Alabama, and they source all kinds of things. And so I found these on their website. I said, I must have them. They were actually really not good looking. They had been several different paint colors, different things, but the arch and like the fun details of like the old hinges, the lock, things like that, I just knew I had to have. So we figured out a custom stain for it. I found these really beautiful handles, this hardware. I think it just really kind of adds to that antique look. And so I love when you open these up and walk into the space. Just makes me happy. So then you walk into here. This is where we did actually an extensive remodel. So we wanted to make this really feel like a really big and elevated primary. So the only thing that stayed the same here is the tub. This is the location the tub was in, and this is the tub that was here. And the Tiffany blue I just love. It's not something that you see every day, and I love unique things. I love when you have something that nobody else has, and so this I just think is really beautiful. I wanted to really highlight this wall, so I did um, this arched wall with molding, added some lighting, and having tile on the back. This mother of pearl, I just think it's so beautiful. It has a bit of a sparkle to it, and I just think it's really elegant. The toilet actually used to be over here. The islands used to be back to back from each other, and it just really didn't function well for us. There was no storage, so that was a huge thing for me. So now we have so much storage. We actually got featured in Martha Stewart for how much storage this vanity had. So just kind of exciting. But I do love it. There's so much storage. There's a place for my hair dryer and curling iron and all your makeup and all those things. But yet also, because I just like things to be really beautiful, I wanted to make sure that we had this cabinet where I could showcase some really pretty things, add a little lighting behind it, and this just really feels elevated and elegant. Where the shower is now actually was the closet. So that you can kind of see that it was a pretty small closet if it was just the shower. But so I wanted to create a bigger shower I wanted to use marble because it's timeless, and I wanted to use all champagne bronze fixtures. And I love to do a little niche that has lights in it. I think it's nice when you are in the shower and it doesn't have like really strong light, because sometimes you're still tired and you need a few more minutes. And I think it just makes you feel a little bit, gives you a little time to wake up. And then I wanted to do these arched doors so that they would mimic the doors that are coming into this space. So I think you'll see several different arches in here, and I just really like that little architectural piece. It's also pulling from the living room where we have the arches, which gives that feel of it probably was part of the original design of the home, when you're adding things like that that are already in the space. The last thing is I really hate a door to the toilet. And so what I did was create a hidden door. And this door, with all this molding, you can't tell, but you push in and then you can go in to the little water closet. And then lastly is the closet. So this is really what started the whole renovation, was the fact that my husband and I do like to shop. He's just as bad as me. Don't let him tell you anything different. But we needed a space that was going to really hold all of our stuff. So this space used to be an office. And so we moved the office into the dining room. And so now we have this huge closet, and it's perfect for what we need. One thing we really needed in this space was the custom cabinetry. We really needed to make sure that we were utilizing the space that we have and leaving room for all the things that we needed in here. So we worked with, I worked with my cabinet guy to create this. We really worked hard on figuring out what would be the best. One thing I love about it is this island. I love folding my clothes on here. I love that I can set things in here. I will be honest, I don't always put my clothes away. It doesn't always look like this. Sometimes this becomes a place we set things, but for the most part, I really just love using it to fold things. I love being able to see all of my shoes. I love to display my purses and things like that. And you'll notice my shoe collection is just as big as my husband's shoe collection. But I love the lighting that we did in here. I absolutely love the lighting that's in each of these little cabinets. It just highlights your clothes, and it just kind of makes it feel more fun to get ready. So that's what I love. So this part here, I actually designed intentionally because I really wanted to be able to display my purses, some shoes, some things. This tray here was actually my grandmother's. It is not anything fancy, but it was something that was always on her dresser. And so when she passed away, it was one of the things I really wanted. And so I put all my perfume on it. And so every time I put perfume on, I always think of my grandma. And then this is just a little handkerchief from my daughter's wedding. Happy tears. And they were definitely happy tears. That was in September. She got married. But I love just all of these things. When I open it up, put on my jewelry, they're just little things that really make me happy and are important to me. What gives a home a soul and makes it like really come alive and feel like it's the family that lives here, I think that is bringing in things that really have meaning to you. When we design for other people, we really ask them, hey, what do you have that feels like your family? Like what things maybe from trips and things like that really, like when you see it, it makes you happy. For me, we love to travel. And so I love to pick up things on our travels. I love to find antique pieces that are unique. And I feel like when you add those, you can have modern things, you can have things from Home Goods and Target and those types of things. But when you add something that has life to it, you know, something that's older and somebody else used and it has a story to it, I really think that when you weave that into just your everyday items, that's where it becomes a little bit better, a little bit of a story. And, you know, every person, every family, every house has a story. And, I think it's interesting when you move from a home, when you're living in it, it's your home and you love it and it's so fabulous. And then when you go to sell it and you are empty and your moving truck is going to take you, and you realize that that's a shell. And what's actually the home part is you, the people that live there, and the things that you bring in that have meaning to you. Home to me is everything. It is the place you go to feel safe. It's the place you go to feel loved. It's the place that you feel comfortable enough to fall asleep anywhere. Doesn't matter. It's the place where memories are made, where special moments are captured, and home is everything. Bye, Homeworthy. Thanks for coming and doing a tour of my home. I hope you come back soon.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.